I think we beat the word earned into the ground, but like that paid audience that you had guaranteed kind of took pressure off on having to actually be compelling. Whereas now, CMOs want an idea in a sentence, and they'll worry about where it goes after. Progressive ones, that's and that's really exciting, and it's great for us because what we've been talking about is like human gated audiences. Like if you're just starting in PR, traditional media relations, you have to pitch a reporter and get him to cover your story and put it and do it the way you want. It's human at the gates. Now everything is a human gate because you can just switch off, right? Yeah. So everything has to go through that. So coming from that background, it actually helps us a ton for me.
Because you're always human gated.
Right. So now if you're thinking about even an ad campaign, if you have an idea that people are going to go and share and talk about, or a CMO can be like, oh yeah, I can see that being a thing or being relevant. They don't care where it is, so it's good for us. It's helped a lot.
So what do you guys think is the role of media now with this human gating idea, like that idea? Like, is media still important? Does it depend on the audience? Or are there certain kind of ideas that require that kind of approval from media, which we used to need? And on that earned side, it's like it all went through them.
You mean
like the third party earned?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, who are you being creative for, right?
Yeah.
That's really
who are you creating for? Yeah.
So I think the thing that like earned creatives we used to comfort ourselves thinking is that our work had to be a little bit smarter because the gatekeepers or the stakeholders that we were speaking to on average more informed than your standard consumer audience. I don't know if that's true anymore for a few reasons. Like obviously media, like as the fourth estate is shrinking dramatically, everyone is a reporter, everyone is an expert. And on top of that, like thinking about channels or where we're ultimately going to be placing an idea gates the idea in a way that I don't know is really, really useful. And when I'm working with earned media experts, people who are placing stories with media, usually the idea gets smaller and smaller and smaller because of what sort of the fixed sense of what a morning show segment looks like or what an op-ed looks like. And so thinking about media as the ultimate goal or earned media as the ultimate goal doesn't make sense to me. It's like, can we create ideas that spread themselves? That's
a great point, I think. And it's for the PR industry or the earned, whatever we're calling the industry. It's a whole. It's a whole because
what is
you
that
still have that team of media pitchers who are great, but when they are in on the ideas, it works. When they're coming to you and saying, we need a dream job. Can we make this idea a dream job?
Yeah,
or can we
put Ryan Gosling in this idea
right,
somehow?
Exactly. It's like these are the 8 things that are currently working with the few media outlets that are covering our brand stuff, and that's where your CMOs and your integrated marketing leaders are kind of like, all right, your PR over here. Here's your small budget. Go do your thing, and we're going to go do something at the Super Bowl.
And that's where the constraints come in, right?
Yeah.
We talked about constraints earlier. Yeah. I think very liberating in terms of what we can do and what we can put on the table from a constraints perspective. And now we're talking 10 years now at least that sort of ad-like objects have moved over into the earned realm, right? Yeah. Bigger ideas. Even ad agencies are doing the same thing.
Ad agencies are writing the press release first, like as a basis of understanding if the idea is real.
And so those things are moving over. What hasn't moved over are the budgets. And that's something I actually wrote an op-ed about 8 years ago, just sort of my plea to CMOs as to how I would view all what you have, as you just said, PR is over here, earned is over here. It needs to be everywhere. And it doesn't need to be housed in an earned shop or an ad shop. It just needs to be present at the beginning of whatever is going to happen for the following year. And my plea was just like open the aperture, make sure that this is fluid throughout, make sure that the ideas are flowing wherever. And we can certainly and have done with numerous clients at Weber come up with an earned idea that became the big idea that went filtered into television, that filtered into other things. The problem is we don't often get the budget to do that. I like making a fire from twigs as much as anybody else. It's nice to pour some gasoline on that fire once in a while,